Alright, so let's talk about the stories and a graph. And so, what our goal is here is we have all these different sketches of graphs, and then we have all these different stories, and we're trying to align all these stories with, or each one of the stories with, a particular graph. So, we'll let me just run through all the graphs and explain to you what they're kind of showing, and then we'll start matching the stories up to them. The very first one, first of all of them have the same variables: distance from home over time. So, this is time passing this way, and then the higher I go, the farther from home I am, and the lower I am, the closer to home I am. So this person right here, in just a little bit of time, they're kind of have a lot of speed going away from their house. You see, they're really far from home right here. And then it looks like they're getting, even though they're getting farther from home, the line is starting to kind of flatten out a little bit. So that shows that they're slowing down. They're not going as far from home as in a short amount of time. Until right here, it looks like that they're barely even making any kind of progress upward. It's almost completely flat. This one right here, you can see that they have a constant rate, like I don't know if they're riding in a car or something, but a constant rate going away from home. But then something happened, they're coming closer to home, and then something else happened, and then they started going farther from home. And notice that each one of these are constant rates, so it's like out, back, out. This one right here looks like that we've got a slow rate moving away from home, and then something happens where they're not moving farther from home at all, and then all of a sudden they're moving even quicker away from home. So like a story for this is, I'm walking, I stop because I see a scary dog, and then I start running away from the dog, and I'm running away from my house. So anyway, so you can kind of get the idea of how these graphs have a little story in each one of them. This one is kind of weird because you see that it got some curvature. So what this means is that kind of moving slow right here, and then I start to build up speed. Okay, so I build up speed, and then I kind of slow down a little bit, but I'm not slowing down completely because it's not a perfectly straight line this way. But I am slowing down a little bit, and then I build up more speed again sometime down the road. So let's read these and take a look. We've got Tom ran from his home to the bus stop and waited. He realized that he had missed the bus, so he walked home. So what we're looking for is something that is moving fast away from home, pauses, and then moves slowly back towards home. So the one that matches that graph is this one right here. And you see he's running, so he's moving quickly away from home. He's far from home in a very short amount of time. This maybe 5 minutes has passed. And then he's standing there. He's not moving farther from home or getting closer to home for a little while. And then I guess he realized he missed his bus, so then he starts walking back towards home. So you see that line is not as steep because he's moving slower. So number one goes right there. Alright, let's look at number two. I'm going to change my color. 2. Opposite Tom's home is a hill. Tom climbed slowly up the hill, walked across the top, and then ran quickly down the other side. Alright, so we're looking at all these different graphs, and I'd like for you to try to figure out which one you think it is. The correct answer is actually this one right here, and I'll explain it. See this line, he's moving farther from home, but kind of at a slow rate. Okay, and it's because it's hard walking up a big old hill. Now when he gets to the top of the hill, he walks across it. So you see he picks up a little bit of speed right here. This line has more of an incline to it because he's picking up a little speed, because it's easier to walk on the top of the hill than to walk up the hill. And then you can see he picks up even more speed right here at the very end because he's running down the hill. So, but you might, some people think, well, this graph should look like this, where he walks up the hill and then he runs down the hill. But remember, this is graphing we're not drawing a picture of the hill. This is graphing his distance from home. So his distance from home is going to be kind of slow at first because he's walking up the hill, and then his distance from home is going to increase a little more because he's walking across the hill, and then whenever he runs down the other side of the hill, his distance is going to increase at a faster rate. So that's why it's that particular graph. So let me just draw a little line there. Let me pick a different color. Maybe I should use these dark colors. Here we go. Alright. Tom skateboarded from his house, gradually building up speed. He slowed down to avoid some rough ground, but then speeded up again. Okay, so that particular word problem is actually going to go with this graph right here. And the reason why is because you see that he's skateboarding, he's gradually picking up speed, that's why it's curved right there, and then he kind of gradually slows down because he sees some rough ground. Now he's still moving because you see this is still increasing just a little bit, and then he gradually picks up some speed again at the very end. So that's the answer number 3. Alright, let me pick a different color. Number 4, Tom walked slowly along the road, stopped to look at his watch, realized he was late, and then started running. Okay, so that particular graph is actually going to be right there. Okay, and the reason why is because you see he's walking, so this incline is going to be not as steep. And then he looks at his watch, he stops and looks at his watch and realizes that he's running late, and then he starts then he started, let's see, Tom walked on his road. Well, actually, it's not telling me that he ran home, so I can't say that that's the correct answer actually, because that graph right there, this graph shows that he's running back home quickly. So if he maybe forgot something at his house and then had to run back home, well then I could say that that's the correct one. So based on my assuming that he did not run back home, because it doesn't say that, I'm going to have to say that this is the correct answer right there, C. And let me explain it, because you see he's walking, so that's kind of a gradual increase. He stopped and looked at his watch, realized that he's late, and then he started running. So we see more of a dramatic increase right here on this graph right there. So the correct answer number 4 is, I would have to go with C. Now let's go, I want to pause this for a second, and then the next video I'll run through the last 6 a little bit quicker now that you can kind of get the idea of how to read these graphs.